Island, this could be an historic storm, and the vulnerability is great. The possibility of flooding is significant, so we're encouraging people to vacate from those areas and be prepared for a very, very dangerous situation. Winter storm weather is expected throughout the rest of the Hudson Valley. Now, we're all New Yorkers. We think we can handle anything, but here's the bottom line. You need to hear this from me, someone who's been through more blizzards than any governor in the history of the state of New York. This is one to take seriously. And a blizzard can truly paralyze an entire region, not just the roadways, but the streets, and transportation can grind to a halt. But downstate, we've dealt this with Buffalo and elsewhere, but downstate is so densely populated that when a blizzard hits and paralyzes an area, it's life-threatening because people need to know. They're not as accustomed to dealing with it, number one, but you can literally freeze to death outside or even in your home if the power goes down. So we'll talk about that. So first of all, we want you to heed our warnings, take all precautions, plan ahead, and truly, truly, when this hits, it's likely starting at 6 a.m. Sunday morning, we are asking you to just stay home. Stay home. There's a nice diversion called the Olympics going on. There's an important hockey game, the U.S. versus Canada, I believe around 8 a.m. So stay home, root for your team, and stay safe. So the storm is going to start at 6 a.m., but the blizzard conditions where you do not want to be anywhere outside won't start until the evening on Sunday. Now, this will carry into Monday afternoon before the state finally can see some relief by Monday evening. Here's the snow totals, which, as I said, just went up about 6 or 8 inches per area. New York City and Long Island, first forecasted to get a foot. We are now looking at 18 inches to 24. Let me help you with that. 24 inches is 2 feet. Now we're talking serious snow. And over such a short period of time, if that happens over a long weekend or a period of days, it's not as threatening as it is when it happens with such ferocity, 2 to 3 inches an hour. That is why this is going to be a uniquely dangerous storm. Hudson Valley, 12 to 18 inches, significant amount of snow there. Capital Region, 8 to 12. Rest of state, 2 to 6 inches. Now here's the other warning. It's not just nice snow falling down. It is going to be whipped up by the wind with gusts of up to 60 miles an hour. These can be hurricane force winds. And what that does, and take it from me, I've been in this situation. When the snow is falling, visibility is low already, but the wind whips it up. You cannot see the hand in front of you. And certainly on the roads, it is so, so, so dangerous. And rest of the area, not just 60 miles an hour downstate, but the rest of the area, 45-mile-an-hour winds as well. Now, what also happens, not only life-threatening situations on our highways, but this is when the power lines come down. Seen it many times, lived through it many times. So you get the wet and heavy snow. It's a real risk for power outages. And as well as I mentioned, Long Island can see, and New York City and southern Westchester can expect flooding. So I'll tell you some things we're doing in mind. We're taking immediate action to protect our communities. I'm declaring a state of emergency for 22 counties across New York to begin tomorrow morning. I've already activated 100 members of the New York State National Guard. What are they for? Well, these are the people who might be able to get first responders to get out of their cars and get transported to a hospital if it's a nurse or a doctor who has to get there, or our other first responders who are paralyzed, who need to get around. So they do an incredible job, and I'm so grateful to always have them at the ready to help their fellow New Yorkers. So they'll be staged across Long Island, New York City, and the lower Hudson Valley, and really ready to just jump in and support any areas where the most help is needed. We'll also have 25 vehicles to support downstate response operations and local partners. Now, speaking of vehicles, I want to point out something we have behind me. You have not seen this before because it's brand new. We just acquired this snow and ice rescue vehicle, and what it does is it's able to hold upwards of 20 people. Imagine that this goes along the road. Look at this, can go anywhere. Goes along the road, along the thruway. Cars are stranded. I've seen this firsthand many times in Western New York. and they're able to pick up people who are stranded in their vehicles and transport 20 at a time. So I am sending this vehicle right to Long Island to be ready and positioned if we need help on the highways and byways downstate. So you won't be seeing this tomorrow because it'll be on its way to Long Island, but I'm grateful we have that capability now to support us. So there'll be 25 other vehicles heading down. Division of Homeland Security Emergency Services has already activated our State Emergency Operations Center, which I'm a frequent visitor in the wintertime, and I'll be over there to check in on how that is going. That'll be open before the storm starts. And we've offered support to all impacted communities. Our team has either directly spoken to county leaders. I'll be making more calls again, but also just offering full assistance from the state of New York. We are partners, we're experienced, and we want to make sure we're a hand to you during these situations. I also spoke to Mayor Mondani already to offer assistance. Our team's been in touch, as I said, with the leaders in all the neighboring counties and also with their managers, emergency managers. We're also stockpiling extra equipment and emergency response personnel at the ready to be deployed. Now, DOT, Thruway Authority, have more than 2,000 plows at the ready to clear the roads. We have over 5,800 utility workers across the area ready to respond and repair as soon as possible. This is, again, a situation you do not want to be in any longer than necessary. If the power goes out, you can't leave your home, the snow is piling up outside your door, the kids are crying. If I sound like I'm speaking from experience, I am. So, and those who rely on mass transit, now MTA is closely monitoring this storm and ready to make sure that the platforms and the stairs are salted and all the equipment and infrastructure is ready to operate. But this is why, if you expect to and hope to travel on our downstate public transportation network over the next couple of days, you need to check and make sure that service is not being disrupted. We'll know more specifically in the morning, so stay tuned to the MTA website as well. Expect widespread flight cancellations. The airports downstate will not be functioning anywhere near normal situation on Sunday and Monday, and probably lots of cancellations. So here's what I need New Yorkers to do. Just stay attuned, watch the forecast, watch the news, follow apps, and make sure that you're up to speed on what is happening. If there's any local warnings and advisory, for example, you need to know if you really do have to go out, and I encourage you not to, you need to know if there's a travel ban. You do not want to be pulled over and have to force our emergency personnel to try and get you off the road when they might be trying to save someone else's life. So just please be smart and make sure there's not a travel advisory or a complete ban on travel when you're heading out. So make sure you follow those as well. Again, I would just, if you can stay home, and I have such respect for all the workers, the men and women of our teams that will be out there on the streets to keep you safe, certainly in all the counties as well, the emergency personnel, the police, the firefighters, the EMTs, everybody, the plow drivers. My gosh, those are our heroes in the wintertime, and I'm so grateful for all of them really going out there in the worst weather when others are sitting home, and I can't tell you how much this means to me that we have such a dedicated team of public servants. So if you're able to work from home Monday, please communicate that to your, if you're an employer, please communicate to your employees now so they can have telework. If you have to be out there, make sure you have supplies in your vehicle, blankets, shovel, flashlight, extra batteries, food, water, even extra clothes. Make sure your cell phone is charged. I can't tell you how many people said they couldn't call for help because they hadn't charged their cell phone before they started traveling. And as I mentioned, those plow drivers, please give them lots of space. Their work is so hard. I've traveled with plow drivers. I've been in the passenger seat. What they have to experience during a blinding snowstorm or blizzard with no visibility, they have to stay out there to keep the roads as clear as we can. And if you're getting close to them or cutting them off, you've just created a really, really dangerous situation. So please do not do that. So we know how to handle it, but we just need the room to work. All right, you've seen me give you tips on how to shovel snow. It hasn't changed, folks, not in the last month. You are at risk of a heart attack. This is real. It has happened to people I know. When you go outside and the snow is heavy and it's wet and it weighs a lot more than it looks, and you dig down and you pick up a large amount of snow and you think you're fine and you're not. So shovel smaller amounts on the shovel. You don't need to be a hero. and start as early as you can so there's not a high accumulation. But keep the sidewalks as clear as you can so we don't have slip and fall. Check on your elderly neighbors. Make sure your pets, if they go outside, keep an eye on them. They can disappear in a snowbank. I know this. Also, stay inside as much as you can, as I mentioned. It should warm up a little bit, though. This does not seem to be the situation we had where it stayed cold for so many days and weeks afterward that the snow simply could not melt. So it is our hope, we wish this was not happening at all, but since it is, that it can be cleared more quickly, and by the next weekend, we're up to much balmier weather. So last things, text 333-111 with your county or borough name to receive the latest emergency updates. That is the quickest, easiest way to know what is going on. And as I said, this is not new for us, but the impact is going to be very much extraordinary, out of the ordinary, and something you need to take very seriously. So we're giving you warning here on Saturday. This is going to hit hard tomorrow and Monday, and then we'll get through it. So New Yorkers, we know we're tough, but the best advice I have for you this weekend is stay home and cheer on our Americans as we continue through the final days of the Olympics. So go USA. And let me turn it over to our Acting Commissioner of Homeland Security and Emergency Services, Terry O'Leary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor. To reiterate what the Governor said, this is not a regular snowstorm. This is a blizzard. So in addition to staying off the road and not driving, understand that the wind conditions do make this a blinding situation. It can be disorienting to be outside, even though the temperature will be in the 20s. Do not go outside during blizzard conditions. Make a plan, hunker down, and stay where you need to be Sunday night through Monday night. The Governor mentioned that we have been coordinating with our partners at the state, local, and county level, and that we're activating the state's Emergency Operations Center. The state's EOC is where all the state partners are going to get together, along with our partners at the New York State Weather Risk Communications Center and the National Weather Service, so that we can bring in any problems that may arise throughout the state. We can decide what the best solution is and then deploy resources from the EOC. We already have our watch center tracking this storm. They've been active going back several days, and we will be fully activated tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Beyond that, we're also going to have staff in local emergency operations centers, including New York City, Suffolk, and Nassau County. It will not only be Office of Emergency Management that's there, but we will also have representatives from the National Guard as well as the state police. We're activating the state's Fire Operations Center. What they will do is they will oversee any search and rescue operations that the state engages in, including using the new snow and rescue vehicle, as well as anything that our partners with the state police, National Guard and their high axle vehicles, DEC, and Parks Police may do in furtherance of this storm. Our state stockpiles are open and they're ready to assist anybody. Within those stockpiles, we have generators that run all the way from 800 kilowatts on down that can help get critical infrastructure back online. With the winds and the heavy snow, we do expect that there will be power outages. Prepare for a power outage. If you see downed power lines, never touch them. Always assume that a downed power line is live and call 911 to report it in. The Department of Public Service is working closely with all state utilities, including LIPA and PSEG. PSEG on Long Island will be bringing in additional crews, as will Con Ed, ahead of this storm so that they are pre-positioned. Given the high winds, it'll be extremely difficult to do any repairs during the storm, but this way they will be on location immediately after the winds subside on Monday so that they can start restoring service. And finally, I would like to turn it over to Commissioner Dominguez, who's going to talk a little bit about all the great work that our partners in the transportation field are working on. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
Governor, good afternoon, and thank you as always for your leadership. You know, we had a nice week last week. It actually got above 30 degrees in some parts of the state. And allowed some snow to melt. But many of us were hoping, quite frankly, that the worst of the winter was behind us. But it's clear that Mother Nature is not done with us this season as yet. And as the governor pointed out, we are in for quite a snowstorm. So the Department of Transportation has been monitoring the storm and actively preparing for the last several days. We've been in constant contact with our partners. It really is a statewide effort led by the governor. All agencies, all teams coordinating emergency and transportation entities, as well as law enforcement, to make sure that we've got a good operational plan in place. And indeed, we are ready for this storm. This storm, as the governor pointed out, is going to be intense. Sustained snowfall, wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. And in parts of the state, it's gonna vary what the wind speeds are, but we can guarantee certainly the coastal communities are gonna receive significant wind. All of these create blizzard conditions. So, as was pointed out, these are whiteout conditions. It can be very, very disoriented. The governor gave some great examples of how literally you walk outside, you can't see yourself. And please take heed of what she said. My best advice is to follow what the governor said for all New Yorkers. If you don't have to go out, please don't. Stay home. Wait for the storm to pass and wait for our teams, New York State Department of Transportation, Thruway, all of our local DPWs, give us time to clear the roads. You know, Governor, we're sending additional personnel, 127 additional operators, supervisors, and instructors down to Long Island and the lower Hudson Valley, which are going to be impacted significantly. But the bottom line is it doesn't matter where you are in the state, there will be an impact for this storm. So all of the equipment that we're moving down, the personnel, et cetera, we're in place, we'll be ready for this storm. We're implementing, importantly, a commercial vehicle restriction on our state highways. Beginning at 4 p.m. tomorrow, that's 4 p.m. Sunday, all empty commercial vehicles and tandem tractor trailers are going to be banned from travel on Interstate 84 and all roads south of Interstate 84, including the Thruway. This includes all major thoroughfares like I-95, the Cross Bronx Expressway, the Long Island Expressway. These are all roads south of I-84. So that's an empty and tandem commercial ban, and all other commercial vehicles will be restricted to the right lane only. So if you're traveling through New York, you have to be in the right lane. And that's going to be on all commercial vehicles south of I-84. Please, take this storm extremely seriously. Do your best, stay off the roads. And lastly, you know, it's been a heck of a winter, as the governor pointed out, and our DOT crews have been at it 24/7, literally, day after day since late October. They've been out keeping our roads safe since the first snowflake fell last October this winter. So, like all of us, I think they've had their fair share of snow and they're ready for some sunshine. But honestly, they're the best snow fighting crew in the country, and I just want to publicly thank them. They are so focused on the mission and to keep everyone safe on the roadways and the operational capability. I just want to extend my hand of thanks and let them know, the governor said, we're extremely proud of them. So let's each of us do our best to make sure that when you see a snowplow out on the road, steer clear of them, don't crowd the plow. Thank you.
Any comments from our state police or the National Guard?
Just real
Superintendent
brief.
Stevens?
Thank you, Governor. Certainly, this is about the public. This is about your life, safety. In essence, this is about the resources coming together collectively. It may be a lofty goal, but the idea is to get through this storm without any loss of life. Certainly, we're prepped and prepared to do that. Thank you, Governor.
Yeah, as you're hearing, this is going to be a brutal blizzard. And even if it's a short duration, we are vulnerable here. A lot of people need to know that this is a heightened situation. We need people to listen to what we're asking them to do, which is stay off the roads, stay home, and life will be back to closer to normal on Tuesday, but just bear with us as we ask all New Yorkers just to heed these very serious, dire warnings. Any questions? All right. All right, thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Bill Ritter, and you're watching live coverage from ABC-7 New York. We invite you to check in throughout the day on our website, streaming app, and social platforms for breaking news, up-to-the-minute headlines, and AccuWeather. And remember, you can always find us on Channel 7, your home for Eyewitness News.